it's actually the story of the greatest sports brand globally, Nike. And it is a story about a brand which serves as a source of inspiration not only to you or me, but also to a legend like Steve Jobs. Let's dive deep and see why. Now remember, I have reserved this talk at the end because I have been writing while you were discussing what you perceived as some of the challenges and where some of the companies, pharmaceutical companies, went ahead in race and the others stayed back. You said price, you said quality, accreditation, certification, packaging, presentation, consolidation, being noticed, not being noticed, marketed at a granular level, range, hand-holding of the doctors, textbook brands, etc., etc. But here, of all these are nonetheless important. But what Steve Jobs talked about is a passion. And what is that passion? I'm here to tell you that story. When Steve Jobs came back to Apple in the year 1996, for the second time, for the first time when he made this company, he was fired from his own company because the other board of directors did not get along with him, didn't see his point of view, so he was chucked out. He again came back to Apple in 1996, and when he came back to Apple, he faced a massive challenge because on his shoulders was thrust the responsibility of picking up the Apple brand, reinstating Apple brand in the eyes of its customers, because by that time Apple brand had sunk deep down. It was the 11th consecutive year that it was facing failure. So it was upon Steve Jobs' shoulders to reinstate the image of Apple in the eyes of the customers, to get it back on the track. And the campaign, his campaign of thinking different, brought back Apple in its tracks once again and helped it to build it as a $1 trillion industry now that it is. So, the question which Steve Jobs raised in his speech was, what exactly is so special about a company which sells shoes? To decode Nike's historic greatness, let me give you a classic example. It was the year 2012, the London Olympics was being held. And because the place was the historic London, every sports company was fighting teeth and nail, or rather tooth and nail, to get the title sponsorship of the Olympics. Now what's so special about being the title sponsors? It's a gold mine. If you can clinch that title sponsorship, everybody knew that it's a gold mine investment for every company, and you can pump in a huge profit. And when the committee got together and when the auction was held, Adidas won the title sponsorship and Nike lost out to its arch rival. And the moment Adidas had this, what Adidas did was, it sat with the committee members of the Olympics and made some very, very, very stringent rules which would practically go on to make it impossible for any other sports brand, leave alone Nike, to associate themselves with the Olympics. মানে যেই আমি টাইটেল স্পন্সরশিপটা পেয়ে গেলাম, আমি এমন প্যাচ কষলাম যে অন্য ব্র্যান্ডসরা কোনোভাবেই তাদের অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্টের মধ্যে লন্ডন অলিম্পিক্সের নাম গন্ধটুকু আনতে পারবে না। হাউ ওয়াজ দ্যাট মেড? অনেকগুলো রুলস, স্ট্রিনজেন্ট রুলসের মধ্যে the major thing was none of the companies when they advertise their brands will be able to use summer, will be able to use keywords like Olympics, the ring of the Olympics. They will not be able to use the names of the Olympiads who were taking part. London, এই keywords গুলো যেগুলো ইউজ করলেই anyone would instantly associate that brand with London Olympics, সেই সমস্ত রাস্তাটা পথটা বন্ধ করে দিল। Fantastic. Then the whole world started thinking that now Adidas is going to go up the top of the charts and it's going to go viral because they've practically made impossible for any other brands to be associated with the London Olympics. But when one of the US companies carried out a survey, they found out that even before Olympics had started, Adidas, when asked, Adidas had actually about 12,000 followers. Let me check the figures, 12,000 followers. 9,000 tweets, whereas Nike had 16,000 tweets. Social media handling, Adidas had 12,000 followers. Nike was leading by 50,000. So the burning question is, oh, and by the way, this title sponsorship which Adidas clinched, Adidas paid a whopping figure of $150 million to become the title sponsor. So now the burning question is, which everybody started thinking was, Nike didn't pump a single penny, pay a single penny. It didn't use any of those banned keywords associated with Olympics. And the other thing is, when this survey was carried out, only 21% thought that Adidas was the title sponsor, whereas 37% of the global population actually thought that Nike was the title sponsor. How is this possible? Now, the marketing people in Nike must have been super intelligent, because they realized one fundamental truth of all marketing strategy. That is, regardless of however complex a system is, every system must have some loopholes. Dig into that loophole. Here, Adidas তো ওদেরকে বাস দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করলো। What Nike people were after was, let us find the loopholes of this strategy, of these stringent rules. And they found out 3. Number 1 was, Adidas never specified that the Olympians who took part will not be able to wear any other shoes except Adidas. ওরা shoes নিয়ে কোনো কড়াকড়ি করে। So what Nike did was, it called 400 Olympiads who participated, and told them to wear their shoes. Number 1. I'm going to show you the picture of the shoes. The color was green and yellow. Remember the cyclists when they ride at night, they kind of, if there is a headlight falling on them, they kind of reflect. So that is the fluorescent, that is the kind of shoes they produced, which was in perfect contrast to the running tracks, the pitch of the Olympic, the tracks of the Olympic. They shone, and they named it Volt. Okay, and asked every one of them to wear their shoes. Okay, no breach of legal contract. Second loophole was that you will not be able to use the name London, London Olympics, Summer Olympics. These keywords were banned. Fantastic. I don't use the London of United Kingdom. But there are 28 such places all over the world with the name London. London in Ohio, London in Jamaica, London in Nigeria. They used London Hotel, they used London Gym. Everywhere in their commercials, they focused on London, 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 but no London of United Kingdom. Tomra London of United Kingdom na koricho. You didn't use it. What about London for the rest of the world? Got it? The third thing, and this is the nicest, sweetest point, is when you look at any sports commodities, what do you see? People, advertisers use celebrities for promotion. Saurav Ganguly, bat niye. Sachin Tendulkar, bat niye. This is common. Nike was banned, you can't use that. Adidas, on the other hand, was flaunting all its TV commercials using the celebrities of the Olympiad to brand, to kind of, showcase their products. What did Nike do? Nike went out and reached to every local community. Got little teenagers everywhere from all the rungs and used them for their advertisement. Why? Nike was doing something different. That is exactly what Steve Jobs said, that when you think of Nike, you don't think about shoes. It's about an emotion. Just like Coca-Cola leveraged its emotion of happiness. When you drink a cola, you are happy. What did Nike do? Nike leveraged its emotion of inspiration. What is that inspiration? Every one of us, you, me, can choose to be great. So whenever we push our limits in trying to upgrade ourselves, become better versions of ourselves, the Nike story of inspiration finds a context in all of us. It is our story, your story, your story, your story, your story. How does that beat Adidas? If you have an inspiration to fight for, if you have an emotion to fight for, nothing can beat you. You don't have to use keywords which are banned. You don't have to pump in money. You don't have to advertise your product. Nike never says, we sell great shoes. Our air soles are better than Reeboks. Nike never speaks of Usain Bolt, but Nike talks about the spirit of Usain Bolt in every runner, in every athlete. And this is how Nike became the greatest champions and won the marketing war in the history of sports. So every time you think of a challenge, think differently. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Very good.